Am I the a-hole for not spending time with my bio dad's stepson and not trying to be a brother to him? I-18 male was raised by my grandparents and adopted by them when I was 3. My bio mom OD'd when I was 1. She lived with my grandparents and me until she died. My bio dad is my grandparents' son, and he lived with them until I was 2, but it was more like he had mail going there, and he stayed somewhere else. My aunt and uncle told me he'd show up every few weeks for a couple of hours and then go. So it wasn't that he was still taking care of me. I don't think he ever did. It was my grandparents who were already raising me. My grandparents kept up with his life, and I know from my aunt and uncle, or brother and sister if you want to go by our legal definition, they encouraged my bio dad to get his life together and at least have a friendly relationship with me. But he didn't really listen for years. I was 10 before he started to get it together, and my grandparents heard from him more. He was working full-time and renting a place on his own and doing good. My grandparents were happy. I think they always worried he'd end up like my bio mom. 18 months ago, he moved back to town and bought a house a few minutes from my grandparents. I didn't spend much time with him. My grandparents understood I wasn't looking to build a relationship with him and found it uncomfortable to be around him. But I saw him around, and sometimes he'd be visiting with my grandparents. A few months after he moved into his place, he said he had met someone, and she and her son, who was 4 at the time, were moving in with him, and he was going to marry her. The rest of my family were there for the meet the family dinner, but I wasn't. She was really eager to meet me, though, and she stopped by the house with her son a few days after the dinner when I was getting home from school. She was really friendly, so I was friendly back, but I did tell her my grandparents weren't home. She wanted to come in anyway, but I told her I was busy, and I brushed her off when she offered to let me go to her in my bio dad's place. She asked for me to agree to make plans with them soon, but I told her no. I didn't go to their wedding, but everyone else did. By the time the wedding rolled around, my grandparents and my aunt and uncle were aware of the fact. I felt like bio dad's wife was trying to integrate me and wasn't taking no for an answer the best. My grandparents talked to her and my bio dad and told her she needed to accept my no because they weren't going to let me be pressured into anything after all the time my bio dad had let slip by. I've been around them a little since. If we're all at my aunt or uncle's house, or if they come here, I'll interact a little. But I don't go to their house, and I don't make plans with them. I don't include them in my plans either. Like my 18th birthday, they weren't invited. My graduation, they weren't invited. But my bio dad's wife has attempted to include me more and has asked my grandparents to babysit her son a few times, and afterward, she'd ask why I didn't spend time with her son or why wasn't I helping to entertain him. At one dinner, she tried to ask for a sibling photo of the two of us, and my uncle helped me escape before she could finish. Then yesterday happened. My aunt invited me out with her and her kids. My bio dad's wife found out about it and asked for her son to be included. My aunt said there was no room, which was true. So bio dad's wife was like I could drive and take her son and we could hang out. We said no and went about our day. When my aunt dropped me off, my bio dad and his wife were there. And so was my uncle. His wife was going nuts over the fact I wasn't spending time with her son and wasn't being a brother to him. She said I could be civil, but I couldn't give an actual relationship a chance, and it felt unfair. She had wanted everyone there because she decided enough was enough, and it needed to stop. It wasn't really a fight, though, because my grandparents told her if she didn't like it, she could leave, and she needed to leave me alone and accept the boundaries I had placed. She said those boundaries were impenetrable, and her son didn't deserve to be kept out like he is, that he was really excited to get to know me better. They made her leave before she could keep ranting. They made my bio dad leave too, and my grandparents and my aunt and uncle told me not to worry, and I'm not. But I guess I did question a little about whether I'm being an a-hole to the kid or not. I don't really think so, but I know it might be confusing for him. Am I the a-hole?